Well, thank God you got another hour's sleep, or I don't know how late we would be starting the service, but better late than never. Good to see you. Tēnā koutou te whānau o Auckland Unitarians. Tēnā koutou nā mana hearing. O mai, haramai ki tēnei whare karakia a te atua. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. There is a tradition in the Greek Orthodox Church to tell jokes around the Easter dinner table. They call it Easter laughter. So I'm going to share one with you. I've shared before, but it was a number of years ago, and you probably don't remember it. And two, it's one of my favorites because in the joke is one of my former lecturers at university, a very famous theologian named Paul Tillich. So here's the story. A story is told about when a cardinal rushed to see the Pope in 1955 with good news and bad news. He asked what the Pope would like to hear first. The Holy Father asked for the good news first. The good news, the cardinal said, is archaeologists have found Jesus' tomb. Marvelous, the Pope exclaimed. Whatever the bad news, I can handle it. What is it? The cardinal said, he's still in it. Of course, the Pope couldn't handle it and asked what they should do. The cardinal suggested calling that young radical theologian Paul Tillich to see what he thought. They got him on the phone and the Pope explained the situation. Afterwards, there was a long silence. Finally, Paul answered, "Are you saying he really existed?" Let us celebrate this happy morning with laughter and delight and openness to the surprises it brings.
For holy days on which we recall the old stories, we light the flame. For Passover, which reminds us of the courage and strength of those seeking freedom in the past, we light the flame. For Easter, which reminds us that love is our greatest challenge, we light the flame. For the opportunity to be together as a community, to remember the past, to plan for the future, to be alive for our present, we light the flame. In your order of service, you'll find our congregational covenant. Please join me. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is the sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. Thus do we covenant with each other and with our God.
Now please stand to sing, if you're able, to sing Spirit of Life.
Compassion,
Well, I'm not sure if we're going to get that going, which will be a problem. But I want to invite the children to come forward for Time for All Ages and our story. Paul, do you want to see if you could? Oh, good. It's coming on. Good morning. Look, we've got some old and new faces, and somebody brought their rabbit. And that's really good news because the story today is about a rabbit. Yeah. Not the Easter Bunny, but a rabbit. And it tells kind of an Easter story without chocolate eggs or rabbits or baby chicks or anything like that. So we're going to see if we can get everything operating here. It is. Okay, we're functioning. That's good, because they're cute pictures. So it would have been disappointing. The rabbit listened. One day, Taylor decided to build something new, something special, something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, what happened? Out of nowhere, birds came and knocked it over. Things came. Well, that's weird. But anyway, things came tumbling down. The chicken was, what? We're missing something here. Why is this going on? I'll make it up as I go along. Things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. Cluck, cluck. What a shame. I'm so sorry. Sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. Cluck, cluck. But Taylor didn't feel like talking. So the chicken left. Annoyed, obviously. Next came the bear. Grr, rawr, how horrible. I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it. Grr, rawr. Can you be a bear? But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left, annoyed. The elephant knew just what to do. Trump-da-da, I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering. So the elephant also left, obviously in a snit. One by one they came. The hyena, hee, let's laugh about it. The ostrich, let's hide and pretend nothing happened. The kangaroo, tisk, tisk, what a mess. Let's throw it all away. And the snake, shh, let's go knock down someone else's. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody, so eventually they all left until Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit. You show the rabbit. Thank you. But it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together they sat in silence till Taylor said, "Please stay with me." The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again. "I can't wait," said Taylor. "It's going to be amazing." I hope someday you'll see how that's an Easter story. And if those old folk out there figure it out, they'll understand the rest of the service. So do the joys or concerns this morning? No? Okay. All right, then we'll sing you off. Go now in peace, may the spirit of life round you everywhere, everywhere you may go. I now invite the rest of you to come forward and share any Easter joys or concerns you have. For those of you who are new or haven't visited before, we say our name, we light a candle from the side, stick it in the sand, and share your story.
Good morning. Okay, I was a bit quick off the mark with my enthusiasm. But mine's I hope it's a joy of resurrection, because today I have my appointment for my first COVID vaccination. Oh, the and I also just want to read you all a message. I have recently made friends on Facebook with someone called Bill Darlison, who I believe a lot of you know, and he said, "Please give regards to the Auckland congregation. It's nearly 10 years since my wife and I were there, and we both count the 4 months we spent in Auckland among the best times of our life. Such a lovely church building and such lovely people. We miss it terribly." So, for Bill.
Kia ora koutou. This is a candle for Kay, but not Kay alone, because Kay's a collectivist and she's been running craftivist companions here at the church on a Thursday, and they've been making beautiful craft for a living wage, which they presented to Auckland Council on Thursday, which was the day that the Auckland Council contracted cleaners moved to being paid a living wage. So, kia ora Kay.
Hi, I'm Craig. This is Echo K. I've already had my COVID vaccination. I had Wednesday morning turned up. It's a really, really good process. Everyone is warm, friendly, efficient. The process was smooth. Everyone knew their role. Nothing was hurried. People were cooperative. It didn't hurt, or at least it didn't hurt me anyway. And it took just over an hour from the time I arrived to my vehicle to the time I left. So if anyone has any concerns about the process, I think you've got nothing to fear. I really don't. Because I'm a frontline health worker, that's why I managed to get mine early, and that'll be the reason why Kay's getting hers as well. For anyone here who's 65 and over, it's your turn next, and that'll be really starting in May.
This is a virtual candle because I've just been incredibly clumsy lately. Just prompted by what Kay said, if it's nearly 10 years since Bill Dallison was here, then it's nearly 10 years since I've been here. That, for me at least, is a celebration.
Such quiet. Okay.
I just thought of something. So we have neighbors, and that might not sound like a big deal, but we've lived in an apartment building, which is also a hotel, for 5 years. And Judy in particular has...
Sorry, hang on.
I have a soundtrack. Judy's worked very hard to try and meet people in the building, and there's all sorts of obstacles. There's like no way to do it. And like 3 or 4 weeks ago, these people moved in right next door to us, and they were like super friendly. And they lent us chairs when we had a Seder last night, and they invited us in, and we invited them in. And we actually know our next door neighbors, so that like makes a little community right there in this damn apartment building. So.
Hi, I'm Kate. I've only been here, this is only my second time here, so I hope this is okay for me to light a candle.
Oh, no. It has to be
I-
3.
Sorry.
It has to be 3 times.
Oh, 3 times. I just wanted to say that Ted and I went to the Waiheke Jazz Festival Friday and yesterday, and it was just the most, God, I'm gonna get all teary now. It was the most amazing experience to be in a group of people. And one of the performers said, "This is the biggest mosh pit in the world." And anyway, I just wanted to express gratitude, which I think someone does this probably every week, express gratitude for being in New Zealand. But it was just, you know, to be in a sunny day, hearing music, surrounded by people was, I've just really been thinking about my family who are all celebrating Easter alone in their houses, you know, without like a Zoom church. And it's just not the same. So I'm grateful to be in New Zealand.
Thank you, Kate. I like this candle because Easter seems to bring out people that I haven't seen in a while and new friends who have showed up this morning. And so I light this candle for those relationships. Some of them go way back. They're a bunch of children I've baptized, that sort of thing. And I light this for those joys and concerns that are in our heart but unspoken. Okay. I'm about to play a video for you because we need some nice, lively Easter music. It's called Angels Roll the Stone Away. And even though it's sung by a Unitarian choral group, this spiritual is the theology of Black American slaves. Our rationalist faith tends to block our hearing what it meant to them to have an Easter faith in a Good Friday world. I invite you to suspend your disbelief, that you may roll up your sleeves. The stone has got to be rolled back from the tomb again and again every year. For he is not coming back, you know. He is not coming back unless it is we who rise for him. We who lay healing hands on the reviled and rejected like he did. On his behalf, we who rage for righteousness in his insistent voice. For we are the resurrection and the life. And as you know, it's a tradition here to have our one communion service of the year where we share hot whatnot buns. And Rachel has made her annual batch. And we'll pass this around for you to take a piece off while you listen to the music. And we know from something Kay sent us that it's a tradition for people to share their hot whatnot buns or hot cross buns with their friends, making them friends for the new year. So, Max, you can start the honors, and I'll try to get the music to start. Did you like that? You're not sure. Even pianists need to eat. Now let us stand, if we're able, for our Koha hymn, Life Flows On in Endless Song. There's no getting around it. Our rationalist faith doesn't get Easter. We get Christmas, Jesus is born. We get Good Friday, Jesus died, we don't get Easter. If we think about it at all, we struggle with the idea of resurrection. Our first reaction is to dismiss what we don't understand or can't relate to. Even if we know the stories about Jesus' last week at Jerusalem, what Christians celebrate as Holy Week, they can feel old, dusty, and irrelevant to our lives. Too much suspension of disbelief is required to take them any more seriously than fairy tales. As a result, many Unitarians find Easter as empty of meaning as the tomb. Why bother going to the effort to roll back the stone? There is nothing to see. Or is there? My challenge this morning is not to convince you that the resurrection happened, but that resurrection happens. I want you to get Easter because I care about you. Getting Easter will only enhance your life. You don't have to be Christian to benefit. Resurrection doesn't care about what you believe or don't believe. It is available to everyone. And in fact, it can occur unbidden, no matter what your faith perspective. If I had more time this morning, I am certain I could make the case that resurrection undergirds all 7 of our UU principles, if we but roll back the stone. Part of the problem is that the gospel resurrection story suggests that the resurrection is only about Jesus. Most of us here can agree that Jesus would not have known about the Easter stories. He was dead and buried, after all. I could imagine that even if church dogma was sufficient for his bodily resurrection, he would roll his eyes at the suggestion that the stories were about him, even if they were literally true. He might ask, if he was bodily resurrected, why did all the fanciful resurrection appearances say that even his closest friends didn't recognize him? Perhaps he looked like a zombie. Yes, the Walking Dead I spoke about last week are still in my mind and will be for a while. I'm only halfway through 10 seasons. If you took the trouble to read the 4 Gospels, the earliest of which was written 40 years after the crucifixion, or Paul's account in 1 Corinthians, written only 20 years afterwards, you wouldn't get a historical account. You would get a theological reflection born in the imagination. That gives us the chance 2,000 years later to do our own creative theological reflection. The biblical accounts of Jesus' death and resurrection suggest that it was done and dusted in just 3 days. If we stop to think about it, that is ridiculous. Jesus' followers would have needed a lot longer to work out their grief, despair, confusion, and disappointment. We know that many of his followers thought Jesus was going to deliver them from Roman oppression. His execution was the last thing they expected. They were scared, thinking they would be the next ones crossed off Rome's list of Jewish troublemakers. They literally headed for the hills. When things died down a little, they returned to their former lives. They probably had to endure a lot of mocking by family and friends for having been sucked in by another false Messiah. That doesn't mean they forgot their hopes and dreams or denied a vague feeling that everything had changed. They would take comfort meeting up with their former comrades and trying to make sense of what had happened, asking, what did they get wrong? Again, the gospel stories give us a clue. In all of the recorded resurrection appearances, Jesus finds his followers when gathered in community. Within community, they found strength through love and commitment. They came to understand that death was not to be feared. Speaking truth to power was important. Healthy relationships are healing relationships. Everyone is worthy of respect and honor. Love doesn't die. My take is that it took Jesus' followers a long time to roll back the stone where their former lives were buried. When they finally did, the tomb was empty. It wasn't Jesus who was resurrected. It was them. In an Easter sermon, Mark Worth tells the story of Jennifer. Jennifer had an incredibly difficult childhood. Her father left home when she was in the second grade. Jennifer's mother was later diagnosed with a mental illness that causes both mood problems and a loss of contact with reality. When Jennifer was 7 or 8 years old, she became her mother's primary caregiver. Jennifer developed various coping mechanisms to deal with her complicated home life, but one day her mother was just so difficult that nothing seemed to work. Jennifer, not knowing what else to do, went outside, sat on the front steps of her apartment, and cried. As she was sitting there crying, a man came up to her and said, "Are you okay?" She politely lied. Yes, she was okay. She looked up at the man. The sun was behind him, giving the impression that he had a halo. She thought, an angel has come to help me. He sat down with her and held her hand. When he sat down, she could see that he was just a regular human being, yet somehow her initial impression that he was an angel stayed with her. He said, "I know your mother." No more than that. And he listened to her story. Many times since then, she has remembered when the man sat and held her hand and listened. The memory has been a source of strength to her. Now she is an intelligent, well-adjusted young woman with an impressive resume and a passion to help build a better world. When I met her a few years ago, she was a grad student at a top university. Jennifer's story is a story about resurrection. Her childhood could have been the kind of childhood that left her entombed. It might have crushed her spirit. It could have meant a kind of death, but somehow it didn't. She managed to find the resources and the relationships that sustained her life. She said that at crucial moments in her life, angels, like the man who held her hand and listened to her story, came along to roll the stone away. For me, Easter is a time to remember that rolling back stones is the action part of my faith. Easter is also a time to give thanks for those angels who have done the same for me, time and again. Each year when I look into the tomb and find it empty, I know resurrection happens and will continue to do so. Amen. I now invite you to stand to sing our closing hymn. That was my Easter gift to you. I know you love that song. And you do sing it well. Please join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. I'm sure we have some notices. Or instructions.
As hopefully everybody knows by now, we're going to be having an Easter egg hunt for our first family whānau gathering after the service. We will, because it is beautiful outside, we will carpool or walk or however get to Vivinios's house. And there'll be Easter eggs hidden in the little contained park behind their house. And after the children hunt for the eggs and exchange them for slave-free chocolate, milk chocolate, then we'll have a little art project that some of the kids can do, and we will have a potluck lunch. So hopefully you brought something to share, and we'll see you then.
Do you have any announcements too? Do you have anything to say as well? Well,
We've been making Easter baskets for the egg hunt, the Easter egg hunt.
So the Easter egg hunt will be happening after church today. Did Judy do a notice about it? There you go, you've already heard, but that's why we've been making baskets today, is for the Easter egg hunt. Have a skippy.
can I keep it? Hey.
Hi, I'm Betsy. This is a very quick announcement. The 22nd of May, Saturday night, the 22nd of May, will be our annual quiz night. Yes, brought back by definitely demand, and really organized. I will coordinate it, but the key people that night will be our quiz Ms. Rachel McIntosh, multi-talented. She does not just make nice hot cross buns. And her beautiful assistant. So, mark your calendar.
I will accept questions. If you wish to submit questions for the quiz, you may do so. I'm the newsletter editor, so if you don't get it, go to the website and sign up for it. My email's at the end of the newsletter. If your questions are too obscure, I may not include them because I did notice that some people got a bit lost with some of the questions, David Fougere, but David's questions are always entertaining. Anyway, feel free to submit questions.
Don't argue with her.
Thank you, Clay, for that interpretation and those thoughts about Easter, which you go around the world. There's so many different ways in which it's interpreted and understood. Some of you have extensive experience of the United States. So I have to tell you, in the state of Pennsylvania, there in Unitarian churches, there was a story that they roll back the stone, and if he sees his shadow, there'll be 6 more weeks of winter.
Just putting it out there that we are starting a singing group, and I have there are 2 very talented women who are joining us at this point, so it's a great little group just to start with, but we'll be open to everybody, and if you just want to join for one particular item or whatever, I'll be able to give you some idea of what we're going to do later on. But my phone number and my email are on the newsletter, so do feel free to give me a call.
And the order of service. I think I got it included. Yeah. Any others? Okay. My closing words are a little different this week. Turn this off. It's a story I've told you before, but it's one of my favorite stories. And it's by a progressive Christian I knew in Washington, D.C., Jim Wallace. A group of friends of various religious denominations were seated in fellowship discussing the true meaning of Easter one day, when the Baptist said, "I believe we place too much emphasis on chocolate bunnies, colored rabbits, and Easter eggs instead of the spiritual aspects, which is the real meaning of Easter." "That's what I believe," said the Baptist. "Me too," said the Methodist. "Me too," said the Lutheran. "Me too," said the Catholic. "Me too," said the Nazarene. And the Unitarian Universalist was silent. "I believe the real meaning of Christmas is that Christ died on the cross for our sins," said the Methodist. "Me too," said the Nazarene. "Me too," said the Lutheran. "Me too," said the Catholic. "Me too," said the Baptist. "Me too," said the Lutheran. And the Unitarian Universalist was silent. "I believe the real meaning of Easter is the triumph of Jesus over the grave," said the Lutheran. "Me too," said the Catholic. "Me too," said the Nazarene. "Me too," said the Baptist. "Me too," said the Methodist. And the Unitarian Universalist was silent. I believe the real meaning of Easter is not that each of you is not only what each of you has said, but also that all people who believe in the sacrifice and resurrection of Jesus are cleansed of original sin through baptism and are restored to the favor of God, and many share his eternal and may share in his eternal life," said the Catholic. "Me too," said the Nazarene. "Me too," said the Baptist. "Me too," said the Methodist. "Me too," said the Lutheran. And the Unitarian Universalist was silent. I believe the real meaning of Easter, in addition to what has already been said, symbolizes that the bodies of all people will be resurrected and joined to their souls to share their final fate, said the Nazarene. "Me too," said the Baptist. "Me too," said the Methodist. "Me too," said the Lutheran. "Me too," said the Catholic. And once again, the Unitarian Universalist was silent. The group then turned to their Unitarian Universalist friend, whom they all recognized as a little strange, and said, "Your silence is a mystery to us. Just what do you believe as a Unitarian Universalist is the real meaning of Easter?" The Unitarian Universalist said, "I believe the real meaning of Easter is the appreciation of life's renewing cycles, and that for all things there is a season. I believe the real meaning of Easter is the acknowledgement with its accompanying sadness of a very human Jesus who was forced to die on the cross because of his liberal religious views and beliefs. But most important of all, I believe the real meaning of Easter is the celebration of thanksgiving for the presence of the sacred in each and every living person and thing, for the presence of the sacred in the birds that sing, for the presence of the sacred in the flowers which sway and the grasses which rustle in gentle breezes. This is what I believe is the real meaning of Easter," said the Unitarian Universalist. "Me too," sang the birds. "Me too," waved the flowers. "Me too," rustled the grasses. "Me too," sighed the wind. And all the rest were silent.